We, the Bangla people, welcome you to our country. We are the lawful inhabitants of this peninsula for thousands of generations. We are part of this land on which we stand, part of the waters that flow in and around. We are part of the dreaming stories that are connected. The full awareness of oneness with the land and waters will ensure a future for the children of tomorrow. Ngaya Punaguru Bangala Mirinya Yura Damilbu. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to our council meeting tonight. From the outset, just to put you in the picture, we are operating under significant IT issues tonight as a result of weekend escapade of vandalism here. So our IT is well and truly down tonight. I would certainly want to acknowledge, though, the efforts of our staff, the cleaners, our glass suppliers and fitters for the effort that they've gone to ensure that we were able to operate tonight's council meeting. But as I said, the issue we can't fix within 24 hours is our IT issues. So we trust that we can still be heard live and that our gallery can certainly hear us tonight. We will all have to speak up in loud voices, elected members. In delivering our oath, we, the Whyalla City Council members, commit to serving the community of which we are a part and will work together diligently and collaboratively to create a prosperous future in which we all can share. As traditional, we have some obituary notices for those who can or wish to stand, followed by a moment's silence. Dale Osborne, Olive Sprout, Mark Hallam, Alex Bryan, Monica Schumann, June Wilkinson, Lois Classen, and Chris Horse. Thank you. Yes, councillors, can I remind you all, please, to have your cameras turned on, seeing this is going out live. Item 4, our attendance record. We have 2 apologies, councillors Knox and Inglis. We have no leave of absence. Item 5, the council member executive declarations. 5.1, conflicts of interest. Does anybody have a conflict of interest they feel should be declared? No conflict of interest. 5.2, gifts and benefits. Does anybody have a gift or a benefit they feel should be declared? Thank you. Item 6, the minutes of the previous meeting. 6.1, the confirmation of the minutes of the previous ordinary council meeting held on Monday, 20th of October. We have a recommendation there. Now, we don't obviously have our flashing red lights. I don't know how I'm going to get on with you, councillor, whether you wink at me or smile and frown if it's a no. We have a recommendation there. Would somebody care to? Oh, that's right. I've got to look up.
Sorry, I'm saying I move it.
Move councillor Simpson, seconded councillor Pond. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Item 7, matters adjourned or laid on the table. We have nil. Item 8, deputations. We have none. Item 9, petitions. We have none. Item 10, public question time. We have none. Item 11, council member activities. You will see on the screen there. quite a number of activities that our elected members get involved in. I'll give you a brief moment if anybody wants to elaborate on any of their activities. No, thank you. Keep moving. Item 12 is presentations. Now, Sebastian from Court of Mentha, he will be online shortly. In the meantime, we'll move on to 12.2. Right, we'll skip over that. Thank you. Item 13, committee reports. 13.1, the draft minutes and summary of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting, the 1st of October 2025. We'll take those minutes as read. I'll just point out to the member, our elected member on the Audit Committee, Councillor Klobuchar, whether he wishes to say anything, whether you've got any questions. Now's the opportunity.
Not particularly, but I'd just like to recommend that councillors do read the financial meeting. And when the minutes come out, they provide a really good summary of the previous meeting. And certainly if there's any concerns, they should advise me control if they come.
Thank you, Councillor. If there are no further specific questions to Councillor Klobuchar, we have a recommendation. The Council notes the draft minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held on Wednesday, 1st of October. Would somebody care to move? Sorry, got to get used to it. Move. I've got a mental blank. Campbell.
Because you're sitting in a different state.
This is not good. I'm old habits. Move Councillor Campbell, seconded. Deputy Mayor Orr. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 13.2, Mount Laura Homestead Advisory Group meeting, 7th of October. We have some a recommendation that council notes the minutes of the Mount Laura Homestead Advisory Group meeting held on Tuesday, 7th of October. Don't know that I can answer any questions if anybody has them. If there was any questions, I'll refer to the CEO. Otherwise, does somebody care to move that recommendation?
I'm in the right spot.
Yeah.
I'm in the right spot. You need that fast.
Move Councillor Todd. Oh, this is embarrassing. Move Councillor Todd. Do I have a second, please? Councillor, I could never forget you, Councillor. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Now, unfortunately, I do have to, this presentation we're getting from Court of Mentha is in confidence. So I do have to ask the gallery, unfortunately, to leave for this item. You're certainly welcome to come on back afterwards. Right, moving on to 12.2, Visitor Experience Coordinator, Ali Sanders, a very happy person these days. Welcome up. Yep. Over to you, Anne.
Thank you. So for those who don't know, I'm Ali Sanders, the Visitor Experience Coordinator down at the Visitor Centre, and I'm actually representing Jenny Barnes, the Events and Tourism Lead of our team. Jenny's unfortunately unavailable tonight, so I got the gong to sound off about how amazing we are down there. So our presentation is called Tourism Triumphs, Wild Vision and Real Action. You might have noticed in social media or in the local papers, we were very fortunate. Should wear, no, I'll do it for you. So Friday, the 7th of November, here we have our beautiful trophy. We were named the South Australian Visitor Centre for the Tourism Awards this year. An amazing achievement and quite a long process to be able to get there. Jenny and I spent hours and hours and hours on the submission. The submission required a 7,500 word response to the criteria that all visitor centres were doing, and also had included 30 images. And it's over the past year. So you went from the 1st of July 24 to the 30th of June 25. So we thought initially that, yeah, that's not going to be too hard, and then found out we'd ended up with at least 13,000 words and had to cull a whole heap. So it was hard in the end trying to pick out what we wouldn't use, because when we sat and reflected, it was such an amazing year for the visitor centre, and moving forward with new ideas. I think it was sad to leave some things out, but in the end we had to leave a few things out. But obviously what we put in was pretty special. So this presentation will kind of focus on a few key elements of the criteria that we put into our application, and we were working on the vision that we're different. We're not just your ordinary visitor centre where you might come and get some brochures, maps and information. Part of our difference is obviously we're tour guides as well. We have the beautiful ship in our own backyard and the Maritime Museum along with us. So we saw ourselves as not only being a visitor centre, but being storytellers for Whyalla, custodians of history, and being able to share that with visitors. So we focused on the fact, we have our beautiful visitor centre. If anyone has been past in the last 12 months, you'll notice that it's quite a different colour. It's got quite a different vibe about it inside, and it's pretty exciting. We focused on our Maritime Museum. We submitted photographs that had locals enjoying the centre and locals enjoying our tours. These images were professionally done by a person called Heidi Hu. She's a professional in tourism photography, and she came and took some pictures for us so that we could use in social media, advertising and in things like this. So they're really special pictures, and you may even recognise a few locals in some of those. The steelworks tours, we focused on that as well, because it is quite an amazing product of ours that we have the ability to take people into the steelworks. Not many people these days get to go in an industrial environment like that. And we see ourselves on those tours as being educators to people on steel making. We like to be informative, and we like to share facts. Clear facts. So we often get asked about what's happening in there, and we're able to say what really is happening on the ground in there. We've recently worked really hard with the steelworks to update the tour. The tour hadn't been updated in well over 10 years. So we spent a lot of time with them on the ground, going through the tour with local people who work there, informing us of the different practices they had and all those types of things. So that was quite a process, and we launched that new tour earlier this year. So we also focused on the fact that we weren't based in one place. We actually have 3 visitor engagement sites. We have our visitor centre, which is at the northern entrance next to the ship. We have our foreshore visitor pod, where we're able to capture the people that come down near the jetty. A lot of our people who enter from the southern entrance to Whyalla tend to head to the foreshore. So we're able to capture those people there, have a discussion with them, talk about the amazing things they can see in Whyalla. And this year, for the first time, we were out at the cuttlefish dive site. We were immersed in that dive site with the people, with a seasonal pop-up stand. And our staff maintained that every day during June and July that our operators were working there. So that wonderful partnership of tour operators and visitor people being there together. We'd also recognised when we had tested it in a short format the year previously, that some people only came to the dive site. So if they were coming from the north, they were just coming to the dive site, doing their bit and leaving. So we wanted to be there to capture them, to tell them about the amazing things that they could see in Whyalla to go in. So I think it turned out really, really well. Our staff really engaged with it and loved the opportunity to be out there talking to all those visitors. This is just again another shot previously of the inside of the centre, our staff giving out excellent information. The next one is the visitor information pod down at the foreshore. And you'll see in our pictures that we've used, we've deliberately got in there a family because they are one of our demographic target markets that are visitors here to Whyalla. We know that from our data. And the couple coming up the ramp are also locals, and they're part of our boomers market. So they're a huge market for us. That road traveller are a huge market. So we've tried to pitch our photography to reflect the people who most often would be the ones that come to Whyalla. And it's just such a fun picture, that one. It's lovely and colourful. So this one, this starts at the action at the dive site. So we took out things like merch. A lot of our merchandise, if you don't know, we do try and source locally from local people. In particular, the hats. Up the corner, we have a lady who knits well over 60 cuttlefish beanies every season for us, and they go crazy. But as you can see, our staff set themselves up there, talking to people, giving them information and selling merchandise out there. It was important, we had discovered, to be where the people were. So the people were out there, and that's where we needed to be, not them come and find us. And it just made our partnership with the local tour operators amazing. We were sharing lots of things that we wouldn't have had we remained in town. So the numbers, so last year in Whyalla, there were just over 32,300 visitors that came through all of our areas, the pod, the visitor centre and the dive site. 10,000, nearly 11,000 of those went in through the Maritime Museum and onto the ship. And we saw nearly 3,000 people alone just in June and July out at the dive site. So they're really great numbers, and comparatively with other visitor centres around the state, we are right up there in terms of visitor numbers that we speak to. This year, we also saw the introduction of Carlo Pisagno. For those that know Carlo, he's a local at Point Lowly, been very heavily involved in the cuttlefish and photography of the cuttlefish and diving out there for many years. Jenny applied for a grant through Santos and was successful in that grant, so was able to have a cuttlefish concierge this year, and Carlo took on that role out there. He was out there nearly every day, and his role was to speak to people. His role was to engage with them, educate them about the cuttlefish, answer questions that they may have. And he was so knowledgeable and passionate about that whole cuttlefish coast and Whyalla in general. People really, really loved him. So he was definitely out there living his best life. So through the Santos grant, we were able to make some specialised postcards that he was able to give out to people that he spoke to while he was out there. We had locally made 300 cuttlefish concierge cookies that he handed out as cuttlefish pencils. They were available at the dive site, but were also available at the library and at the visitor centre when we were doing cuttlefish holiday activities with the children. So we've got some amazing feedback on Carlo, and I'll just read you out a couple. You might be able to see it that far. So one of those was, love this. Carlo is so knowledgeable and always ready to share his know-how about the cuttlefish. The dive site is getting better every year. and couldn't be in better hands. Carlo knows his stuff. So lots of really great feedback on having Carlo out there as the concierge. And as you can see there, he managed to duck into most photos, I think, that were taken out there. And this one we included just because it's so lovely. He was the dog that was attached with one of the workers of one of the tour operators, and he was there every single day. So we popped him into our Instagram frame. Now this one's a bit awkward because Jenny was doing this, so she was giving a shout out to me. So you could just perhaps reimagine that that one was Jenny's face. I'll give a shout out to her. So Jenny is the events and tourism lead, and basically she has enabled the visitor centre to move forward with our ideas, try and make new things happen, and Jenny has been fully supportive of those. And I must say the time and effort and detail that Jenny put into our submission, I think weighed very heavily in our favour when the judges read it, because she was so meticulous with all of her information. It was quite amazing to see her operate in the end. So this is our team. So as you can see, Jenny at the top, myself, Liz Dennis, long-term senior visitor officer at the centre. And then we have our part-time staff, Clarissa, Maddie, Rose and Rod. And underneath our casual staff, Janine, Jason, Linda, Hallie and Sky. Hallie's a little bit special as well. She's our very first school-based trainee. Who's just coming to finish her traineeship with us. She does have casual ongoing work with us, and she was recently a finalist in the Whyalla Business and Tourism Trainee of the Year as well. Underneath we have Vicky and Rod, and Vicky and Rod are our Steelworks tour guides. So we're not a huge team, but considering the visitor centre operates 7 days a week, they only close for 2 days a year. We're pretty busy people out there. So an amazing team who have absolutely grabbed every opportunity that we've been given and taken it and run with it. One of the most exciting things, and I must thank Council for agreeing to our submission to buy our Steelworks bus. So this is our new tour bus. We started the process in October last year and got the bus on the road in April this year. We were previously hiring a bus and we would have to make those arrangements. Didn't always arrive clean, so I don't think our visitors were perhaps getting the best perspective of Whyalla in that bus. And we thought we had a lot more opportunities if we had our own bus. So thankfully Council have endorsed that. You'll notice it's being branded and quite deliberately with very big images of the icons of Whyalla. And on the back, a lot of visitation information. So when you're driving behind it, you can certainly see who to contact, etc. So we're now very busily developing plans for new tours. We've got several ideas in mind. Some of those will be day trips to Wild Dog Hill that include morning tea. Others will also be twilight Wild Dog Hill tours in the cooler months. Tours out to the northern coastline. And because we own our own bus, we can move much quicker and be much more nimble with what we're doing with it. And just to note, if you're going to the pageant in a week and a bit's time, you'll see this bus full of residents from the Helping Hand Centre. So we're in collaboration with them, and we'll be taking a busload of those through the pageant route so they can feel part of it as well. So the branding Jenny designed and was put forward as part of Sign-Rama's work, and it really is quite lovely. You may have also noticed that we've recently done a Steelworks tour ad, and I think we can play that now. It only goes for 30 seconds.
The brain, yeah, let's sort that out. Might send that out to the media.
Yes, unfortunately, it didn't show up on the screen, but hopefully you've all seen it on TV, and you might have recognised a number of faces. We would have gone out to council for council employees, family, friends, anyone they knew to hop on the bus with us. And I think that demonstrated to us that one of the core values of council and We Care is we were inundated with people who wanted to help us out and bring family and friends along. So we thank council people for doing that. And just an aside, I had a look at some data today, and since the ad has gone,
There we go. I'm sorry, Laura, Alan.
So I just looked at some data today. Since we started the ad running round about the 11th of September, we've had 616 people go on our Steelworks tour up until the one that went out this morning, compared to the same time last year of 575. So there's been several times in this last couple of months that we've had to put on an additional tour on the same day because we're already full. So I think a result of that ad, etc., we are starting to see some increase in those numbers as well. Just head to, there's a shout out, and again, I think this links beautifully to the Whyalla City Council values of we work together. So to Tom, Di, Elaine, Alicia and Ludwig, who helped Jenny and I to work through the procurement process of buying a bus. Neither of us had ever bought a bus before. So we had some great intellect and help from that group of people within council. So again, we thank them for that. Another key area of our application was around signage and what it says about us.
Yeah. It's not keeping up with me. Like, it's really slow. Yeah, I will. Yeah.
So what we did was a bit of a signage audit around Whyalla, was to have a look at what sort of condition are our signs in. Are we reflecting who we really are? So the next slide will show you that we had, this was on our northern entrance in Whyalla. Yep, so quite an outdated looking sign, lots of words. Yeah, it wasn't really doing it for us, so we replaced that with this sign, so minimal writing, and buying in with the Eyre Peninsula, the wild side branding, because we consider ourselves to be either the entrance or the exit of the Eyre Peninsula. So we're either going to give the people a great first impression or we're going to give them a great last impression, because we figure most of them come in and out of that triangle. So this is an amazing shot that tells people, look, we've got an amazing foreshore and we've got a fabulous jetty. So that replaced that first sign. The other side of that first sign, as you were exiting Whyalla, looked like this. So that was your farewell from Whyalla. So we thought that wasn't quite cutting the mustard either. So now that's been replaced, if you've gone out that way at all, Point Lowly. So you're actually heading in the direction of Point Lowly. And again, an amazing shot. Very little words, just focusing on that's Point Lowly. That signage is also lit up with overhead solar lights, so it's lit up at night as well. The next one we went to was out at the Cuttlefish. This was again a very old sign when some roadworks improvements had been done previously, and we've now picked that up with one of our hero images of the cuttlefish, an amazing photograph. I'm pretty sure it's coloured, Sagno's photo, and that's what greets you when you're heading out to the cuttlefish coast. So very clear that you are there, and what you're going to see is the dancing giants underwater, which is an amazing statement. Out there as well, we also included, hey, don't forget, we're in Whyalla. So visit Whyalla, stay, enjoy and discover. So again, encouraging people who have perhaps only gone to the dive site to come on into Whyalla and have a bit of a look and explore what the city has to offer. The next one was, this one was for the Steelworks site tours. Kind of a bit of a scary picture, I think. So we decided that one needed an upgrade as well, and that one has now been replaced with this beautiful image. So 3 lovely images of Whyalla. Very clear the visitor centre is 4 kilometres up the road and we're open 7 days a week. So very, very clear information, very clear photographs. And lastly, our poor old ship, she looked very sad, and she certainly does not look that sad, and we have replaced her with this one. Again, the Maritime Museum, 7 days a week, and it's just 2 kilometres on your left. So very, very clear that there's a beautiful ship there waiting for you to climb on. Part of our process over the last year as well was looking at brochures and where we were in some of those brochures and were they professional, were they where we wanted to be seen at. So I have got some examples today. So with marketing in brochures, your location in the brochure is very important, and we've managed to get ourselves on the back of the Nullarbor map roadway that takes you right through. So you look this way and then you go, oh, Whyalla. So we got that position. And then in the Eyre Peninsula Guide, they say that if you couldn't get the front or back cover, then the next best place to be is across from the contents, of which we are across from the contents in this one. So really important that when we're going to spend money on marketing and in paper print, that we actually go for one of the best spots in it and don't get ourselves tucked in somewhere where no one's actually going to see us. So they were great outcomes, and Jenny was a main driver in those. And again, limited text in there, some QR codes so that people will then look for further information. Shout out to Josh from our comms and media team. He's done a lot of work with us around signage, photographs, making up all sorts of things for us. So again, another great value of We Care and We Work as a team. The final component of our submission, you could write whatever you wanted to, and the judges would read that. So I'll just read it out for you. Preparing this submission has been a journey of reflection and growth. It's given us the opportunity to stop and look back over our activities of the past year and realise that, hell yeah, we have achieved so much. We run 3 visitor sites. We deliver Whyalla's main visitor experiences, and we are continually improving. We are unstoppable, and our staff and volunteers are awesome. There's a fire in our belly, and it drives us on because we want to do more. We want to be more and share more every single day. We are leaving our mark on every visitor to Whyalla. And again, when I looked back tonight, I thought that is actually the epitome of the values of council. We are committed. We own it, we work together, and we care. We care about our city enough to tell the story and talk about it all the time. And we care about our visitors that are coming into us, and we want to make sure that they know all those things as well. Also, at the end of the whole judging process, we all got some judges' feedback after we've been announced. I just wanted to read out a couple of these summary points from the judges on our application. A strong and honest overview, an excellent overview of your target markets, stunning and impactful supporting imagery and videos, another excellent answer, great initiatives that enhance the visitor experience across multiple touch points, nice use of staff testimonials to demonstrate engagement and satisfaction for your internal customers, a dynamic overview of your offerings. Again, great supporting imagery, including excellent maps and organisational charts. Great initiatives that demonstrate your commitment to sustainable tourism across multiple areas of the business. This is an excellent submission that ably demonstrates your passion and commitment to providing exceptional visitor experiences. Well done. So I think for judges the three judges to be writing those sorts of comments to us. I feel very proud of what we've been able to put forward as Whyalla. So I guess watch this space, keep watching us, keep coming out and visiting us. We've got lots and lots of ideas still, and we'll be there. So now our next move from this beautiful award is we head to Fremantle on the 6th of March next year for the Australian Tourism Award. So we'll go representing South Australia in the visitor information section. Any questions?
Fantastic presentation.
All I can say, Harry, is the passion that you have in your whole team is, I look at my background, it's music to my ears to see what you have achieved. And you should all be so proud. I'm proud just to be here listening to you.
Thank you. We are very proud. We're proud to be given the job to represent Whyalla. It's quite amazing.
Thank you very much. Right, moving on to item 14, reports from council officers, 14.1, the office of the chief executive. And the first item will be 14.1.1.1, the appointment of deputy mayor, which is traditional at this meeting. And before we get into that process, certainly for the benefit of those that may be online and for anybody that's not fully aware, I would like to just read through the official process as laid down to us. First of all, items A to M, so if you bear with me, please, if two or more nominations are accepted, a vote shall be held forthwith with all council members casting a vote. Nominations will be accepted by the presiding member, that's me, upon the consent of the nominated person. A member may nominate themselves for a position. A person may withdraw her nomination before a vote. A secret ballot voting process will be used to cast a vote. All members must vote, including those who have been nominated for a position. The presiding member must also vote. If only two persons are nominated for an appointment, a simple majority first past the post method of counting the voting will be used. If three or more persons are nominated, the lowest vote elimination method will be used until two persons remain in the ballot. Should there be an equality of votes, the outcome will be decided by the drawing of lots, with the name of the candidate withdrawn being excluded from the ballot. The term of office for such a position shall be for 12 months, expiring on the anniversary date of the November election. In the council chamber, the deputy mayor shall assume no precedence other than as councillor, except during any absence of the mayor, when the deputy mayor shall act in the place of the mayor. Outside the council chamber, the deputy mayor shall be given precedence immediately following the mayor. And they are the regulations under the Local Government Act as to how to conduct an election for deputy mayor. So moving on, can I call for any nominations for the position of deputy mayor? All right, I'll go for this one, seeing hands sort of went up there. Deputy Mayor Border, you are nominated? Yes. Councillor Pond, you are nominated? Absolutely. Councillor Klobuchar, you are nominated? Yep. Are there any further nominations? Right. In accordance with the regulations being a secret ballot.
I will give everyone a paper, and that's right, one name only on ballot paper.
Thank you, CEO.
Mayor, sorry, did you want each of the nominees to speak first in terms of their candidacy?
Certainly can do, CEO.
One from constituents.
Yes, Deputy Mayor Borden, so you for the first one up with.
I'd like to thank you, Mayor. I'd like to take the opportunity to first of all say thank you for the opportunity last term. It's been an absolute privilege to represent Whyalla in the various circles that I associate with and to support the Mayor in his efforts. I wish to continue that and continue to support you and advocate strongly for Whyalla and for the community. So that's what I'm here to do and look forward to hopefully continuing that, but if not, supporting the will of the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Pond.
I'm also very, very passionate about this community and also the work that this council has undertaken over the 7 years that I've been here. It'd be an absolute honour to take my service to the community another step further as Deputy Mayor and stepping in when it's needed. I've demonstrated my passion for this community over and over and over again through my involvement through many, many groups. And yeah, I absolutely have this city in my heart, and it would be an absolute pleasure to take that to another step. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Topic.
Thank you for considering me for being here. While I may not have prior experience of bringing commitment and a strong desire to serve our community, this 1 year term is an opportunity for genuine collaboration and not readiness and represent our residents with fairness, energy and integrity. I hope you'll see my willingness to learn with dedication to this council and strengths and benefit of the community.
Thank you, Councillor. Right. CEO will collect.
Difficult. England. That's what made her as well.
Okay, through the mayor, I confirm that the first rounds, head of order, will be excluded from the count, and we will do the recount for round 2 with councillor Pond and councillor Kopicar as the 2 councillors still in contention.
Thank you, CEO. Yes.
Hey, just confirming through the chair that the second round of counts has a tied vote. So we will now do the drawing of lots. I'll put two councillors' names into the hat, which Jodie Peroni will witness the two names. And then I'll ask Jodie to pull out one of the names in clear view of everyone, so you can see which name is pulled out. Remembering, as the Mayor said, the name that is pulled out is excluded from the process. So the last person standing is the person that is left in the ballot box. Has anyone got any questions before I do that?
We'll get the drum roll. Yeah.
So I confirm that the councillor to be nominated for the position, being the last one standing, is councillor Tammy Pons. Having also received recent advice from through the integrity framework, it's now incumbent on councillor Pons to leave the meeting while council actually does the formal process of appointing councillor Pons to position, given that if the council does confirm that appointment, Tammy Pons will receive a higher allowance. So there's a material benefit. So if you can just confirm a conflict of interest and leave the meeting.
I confirm the conflict.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is a new one on me as well.
Now just seek a mover
Yes.
and seconder.
If there's no further discussion, we have a recommendation. Would somebody care to move that recommendation? Move councillor Simpson. Sorry. Right. Move councillor Coplica, seconded councillor Simpson. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you for your deliberations.
Yeah, you can bring councillor Pons back in.
Congratulations and welcome back, Deputy Mayor Pond.
Thank you.
Item 14.1.2, the Chief Executive Officer's Action Report for October. Take the report as read. Before I seek mover of the recommendation, if there are any questions, I'll refer you to the CEO. No questions? In that case, would somebody care to move the recommendation that we note the CEO's action report? Move Councillor Todd, seconded. Oh, sorry. Councillor Campbell. We have a mover and a seconder. I'll put that motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 14.1.3, report from the CEO as a result of previous discussions of council tracking of council resolutions. Again, before I call for a mover of that, if anybody has any questions or comments, I will refer them to the CEO. In that case, would somebody care to move that recommendation? The council knows the tracking. So thank you, Councillor Simpson. Second and Deputy Mayor Pond. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 14.2, Corporate Services Ordinary Reports. 14.2.1, Monthly Budget Report for October 2025. Again, before I call for a mover, if there are any questions or comments, I'm sure I know who to refer them to. No questions or comments? In that case, somebody care to move the recommendation that we note the monthly budget report? Heard Councillor Campbell, seconded Councillor Todd. Embarrassing. I thought I had it now. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Item 14.2.2, the decommissioning of the Lacey Street Playground. We have a report there with 3 recommendations. Again, I will refer any questions or comments first to the CEO. Yes, Deputy Mayor Pond.
Just for order of clarification, so the money allocated to the Lacey Street Playground was not a grant, but that was from council funds that then were reallocated. Is that correct?
Through the chair, yes, it was. We have received funding through the federal government, which is untied funding, which basically is just council's revenue base, which council determines the allocation. So it wasn't a special purpose or specific purpose grant. It was a general purpose grant untied. So the council has full discretion as to spend that money.
Like that's what I read in the report, but I was just seeking clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any further questions or comments? In that case, we have a recommendation. Would somebody care to move that recommendation? Move Councillor Simpson. I have a seconder. Seconded Councillor Cobbleton. I have a mover and a second. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Item 14.2.3, the Cemetery Operations and Administration Policy Review. Again, we have another recommendation. Does anybody have any questions? I can refer to the CEO. In that case, would somebody care to move the recommendation? Moved. Move Councillor Border, seconded. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Simpson. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 14.3, City Growth Ordinary Reports. 14.3.1, the Outdoor Dining Policy. November 2025 review. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, councillor Simpson.
I read the report. I was wondering how often these regulations and rules are checked out by council.
Take your question and refer to.
Just clarifying, councillor, is it how often is the policy reviewed or how often?
How often is it, no, how often is the content, how often the president checked?
So that's a regulatory services function. So I can't answer that
Okay.
this evening, but I'm happy to take that notice.
But it's done on a regular basis, basically, I'm getting at.
Thank you, councillor. Any further questions? In that case, we have a recommendation that we endorse the updated outdoor dining policy as attached as an Annexure A. Would somebody care to move that way? Move Deputy Mayor Pond, seconded councillor Border. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 14.3.2, changes to the enrolment policy for the Whyalla Early Learning Centre. I'll refer any questions. There are none. We have a recommendation that we endorse the proposed changes to the enrolment policy version 3. Would somebody care to move that way? Move councillor Border. Do I have a seconder? Sorry, councillor Todd. Therefore, we have a mover and a seconder. I will put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Item 14.4, City Infrastructure Ordinary Reports. We have nil. 14.4.1, we have an update on the Mount Laurel Conservation Reserve. Yes, certainly.
I can just have the general manager of
Yes.
development just talk to this item, please.
Certainly.
To clarify the intent of the recommendation.
Thank you. So the intent of the report is we've had some community interest over a period of time, but more frequent support for the investment into our mountain biking and trail pathways. Although it stipulates in here we don't have the funding, it's not listed in our top 10 priority. It's quite a large investment if we were to take it into our master plan. We have reviewed and met with some members of the public and talking about doing the soft launch of that master plan, given the investment and we know the tourism component and local health and wellbeing and mountain biking. We've decided that we would like to recommend that a soft touch to that master plan occur through some signage, some QR coding, shade structure, those sorts of things. So the report talks about where council funding would be required. And there's been some work extensive done by some local community members and some donations about some of the things that need to activate that. So it's using our existing trails. It talks about a heritage conservation area, our offset for our industrial estate, where we've got some existing tracks. We've had to close some tracks and manage that area. That work still continues, and we're not proposing any new tracks to be opened. We're using the existing tracks with the help of our community who know those areas really well. The report that was prepared as part of the master plan and some community asking council staff. So although we don't have a full-time staff member allocated to do this work, we do have some project managers, and given that we're looking at a soft touch, we feel we've got the capacity to undertake those works.
Thank you for that. Councillor Simpson.
Some of the cost involved in that report, it's frightening. Do we know how many people use that facility? How many people use actually remote mountain biking or hiking? Do we know any numbers?
I think the master plan itself did some digging into how many locals may use that facility, but I think, I'm not sure how substantiated that can be. There are figures around tourism, so what the sort of dollars that sort of experience brings to communities. So we know the Phoenix Ranges and other places where you've got nice scenery and outdoor mountain biking challenging areas of varying degrees for families. Does bring a lot of money to communities and tourism dollars.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Comments?
Just a comment, I think it's a really good idea to go with a
soft approach, given that it is such an expensive exercise and we are very limited with the money that we've got. I think, potentially if it goes well, there's the opportunity for the grants. With other ways of funding, so I think it's a great idea.
Thank you, councillor. Yes, Deputy Mayor Pond.
I'd just like to mirror that, in comments that I've actually written down as well, but fantastic idea. Soft approach, I love that, soft opening, do what we can with the funds that we have, because we are not financially in a position to throw those into it at this stage. But I think once we can prove that it's utilised and valued, that will help us to then get funding in the future.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. In that case, if there are no further questions or comments, we have a recommendation. Would somebody care to move that recommendation? Moved, Deputy Mayor Pond, seconded councillor,
Councillor Todd was first.
sorry, moved councillor Todd. Moved councillor Todd,
Already helped.
seconded Deputy Mayor Pond. I'll put the motion, those in favour? Against, carried, thank you. Item 15, information / decision reports, 15.1, council members, 15.1.1. The mayor's list of engagements. If anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer them. I should just make one comment. I attended the Women's Football League dinner. Most of the women were sitting on the side, on my left side. My hearing is still trying to adjust. They show their enjoyment far more than the guys. Let me assure you of that. I congratulate them for an excellent night. In that case, yes. Sorry, you're moving it, councillor Todd. Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Border. We have a mover and a second. I'll put the recommendation that council receives and notes the mayor's list of engagements. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 15.2, corporate services, city growth. 15.2.1, the monthly information report, October 25. Detailed list of the recommendations there. Does anybody have any questions or comments I can refer in the first instance? In that case, would somebody care to move the recommendation? Councillor Todd's moved. I have a seconder, Councillor Border. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Item 16.1, we have a notice of motion from Councillor Westerman. 16.1.1 in relation to secure public lockers on the beach. They have a recommendation there. I'm looking for some guidance as to where to go from there. See,
Councillor Westerman has essentially asked her to move that motion, given it's on notice. Councillor Westerman can speak to it and then seek a seconder, noting that it's asking council to investigate, not implement. So investigate means that we can come back to council with a report confirming what the resource and pros and cons are associated with that request.
thank you, Councillor Westerman, do you wish to move that one? Move Councillor Westerman. Would anybody care to second that? Deputy Mayor Pond seconded, so we have a mover and a seconder of that recommendation. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Item 17, questions on notice. We have none. Item 18, questions without notice. Do we have any questions without notice? Councillor Simpson.
I have two. One on behalf of Councillor Knox, who isn't able to be here, about the pamphlets about the dumping and the verge problem we have. And the council we're going to put out pamphlets for council vehicles. Has any developed in that? Then you happen, no,
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, so just to check, that's council staff putting
Yes.
things in the boxes. Yep, so we are currently exploring that with relevant staff. In a meeting tomorrow. We will be workshopping illegal dumping and hard waste collections with councillors on the 24th of November. So we'll go through the full A to Z of illegal dumping and hard waste collection, looking at what our current process is and some suggested improvements, how we can look at refining the process and trying to truncate it so that we can get hard waste off the verges quicker than is currently the case.
thing like, I'm looking forward to that meeting, it'll be very productive for us.
Yeah.
And my question is, have a property in, I think it's 30 Mitchell Street, that gets vandalised quite often, gets illegal dumping in the backyard quite often, and some of the fences have been ripped down. They tell me, or when Catherine was there, she mentioned the owner of that property lived interstate. And they're contacted quite frequently about doing something about the building. I'm just wondering what is happening with that. It just doesn't seem to change. It's a derelict, buried out shell. It gets vandalised. And dumped on daily.
Yeah, for sure. I'd have to take that question on notice. I don't have that level of
Appreciate that.
detail top
Yeah.
of mind. But if you're comfortable with it, I'll bring that information to the 24th of November workshop.
More than comfort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, councillor. Any further questions without notice? Yes.
Has the camera issue ever?
Since, unfortunately, councillor, I don't like doing this, but Sue King and Grant Jennings, who are looking after that issue, are both not in attendance, so I'll have to take that question on notice. I know it has been progressed, but I'm not sure exactly what point we're up to, so I'll get an email sent out to councillors.
I can add to that. It's the engineering solution that we've been waiting for the new structure, the new cameras to be, the software to be attached to, has been received by council.
Thank you, councillor. Deputy Mayor Pond.
Just wondering if we've got an update regarding the point line and break covenants letter. We had that meeting yet.
We had scheduled, sorry for the
Yeah,
we had scheduled the meeting for last week. And unfortunately, I had a double up in my calendar, so we've had to defer that meeting. It's been rescheduled to
Next week.
next week.
Yep.
So it's, I think everyone's got good intention to meet, just unfortunately the diaries haven't quite lined up yet. So once we've had that meeting, we'll share that correspondence as reported previously.
Thank you.
Any further questions without notice? Oh, moving on. Item 19, motions without notice. Do we have any motions without notice? No, thank you. Item 20, consideration of confidential items. My knowledge, we have none. On that note, thank you for your perseverance with my lack of memory at times and the lack of IT. Hopefully everything will be back to normal as a result of these issues by next meeting. Thank you. It must be time for supper. Thank you. Therefore, I declare the meeting closed.